According to the National Institute of Mental Health, in 2015, an estimated 16 million Americans experienced at least one major depressive episode. That's almost 7% of the population over the age of 18. But Big Pharma doesn't see that number as 15 million people who are suffering. They look at it as 15 million people that they can sell pills to every single day. There are dozens of different antidepressants on the market today, and with each drug company trying to capture as many of that 15 million patients as possible. And while antidepressants have shown great promise in treating depression sometimes, many of them now carry warnings of an increased risk of suicide, and they should. That's what happened to Stuart Dolan, a Chicago attorney who committed suicide by jumping in front of a train after taking the generic version of the antidepressant Paxil. Mr. Dolan had only been taking this medication for 5 days when he committed suicide. GlaxoSmithKline, the maker of Paxil, has known for years that its medication increased the risk of suicide in patients. And for the longest time, they attempted to cover up the dangers to keep their profits flowing. Paroxetine, one of the active ingredients in Paxil, had been studied by GSK since 1989 when the company first developed the medication and submitted their application to the FDA. According to the earliest studies produced by GSK, Paxil actually showed a decrease in suicidal thoughts and actions compared to placebo groups, or at least that's the way the company presented it, but it was a lie. As it turns out, GSK was actually manipulating their own data to show an increased risk of suicide and suicide attempts among placebos that didn't exist at all. It was all fabricated. It was all phonied up. And again, GSK did this to convince the FDA that its antidepressant was completely safe. An internal email from the company from 1999 showed that the studies had been manipulated to count placebo suicide attempts that should never have been counted at all. Again, they were phoning up the data. The internal email also laid out the many ways that GSK was twisting the data for the FDA approval, all kinds of ways. For example, in 2004, the FDA ordered GSK to include a black box warning for its drug showing an increased risk of suicide in young users, but it didn't specifically mention patients over the age of 24, and GSK knew that was a problem. In April of 2006, nearly 7 years after GSK's own internal documents showed that the company knew it was misrepresenting, making up findings, GSK finally decided to reanalyze its data and found that yes, absolutely, Paxil does in fact cause a statistically significant increase in suicidal thoughts and actions in adults with major depressive disorder. And yet, the product label was still not updated to reflect this fact that GSK was absolutely aware of. That brings us back to the case of Stuart Dolan. Had Glaxo properly warned doctors and patients, and even the FDA, about the dangers they understood 20 years ago, Mr. Dolan and all the people that have died from this product might still be alive today.